Susan, and I'm so glad that you're here in time for yourself on your mat. Let's find a comfortable seated posture. That could be legs crossed, or perhaps your legs are extended with a soft bend in your knees. Let's bring our hands, palms facing down, just resting on your kneecaps. Find that lift in your spine. If you'd like, you could close your eyes or have a soft gaze down at your mat. We'll take just a few breaths here, inhaling and exhaling. Ease of breath. Soften the muscles in your face. Soften the muscles in your thighs, hips. And we'll take one more breath here, taking your time, fully inhaling, fully exhaling. And bringing your arms down by your side. Let's inhale, float the arms up overhead. We'll turn palms out and reach arms back down. Lengthening. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Turn palms out, exhale. Arms melting down by your side. We'll come into our hands and knees tabletop. So the tops of your feet are resting onto your mat, and we've got the wrists stacked under the shoulders, knees stacked under the hips. Again, we're just resting the tops of the feet onto the mat. Tilt the belly down, gaze goes up, inhale. On your exhale, scoop the belly, round the back up towards the ceiling. Let the neck just relax. Find that wonderful length and strength in your upper back. Inhale, tilt the belly down. Exhale, rounding the back. We'll find our neutral hands and knees tabletop. And then let's do a nice stretch for the side of our body. So we'll kick that left hip towards our left shoulder, peeking back at the back corner of our mat. Back to center, and then traveling to the other side, gazing towards that back corner of the mat. Kind of lean into it this time. We're just going to alternate, thinking about the opposite side body as it lengthens when that hip kicks in towards the shoulder. From our neutral hands and knees tabletop, we'll curl our toes, find downward facing dog, thinking about that inverted V. Hips are up. Nice steady hands, and then let's pedal out the feet. We'll bend one knee and then the other. Give our dog a little walk. Finding stillness in your downward facing dog. Generous bend in your knees and send that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Melt in your heart, relax your neck. And then just soften through the heels. They don't have to touch, but just melt the heels. Nice stretch for the back of the legs. Then let's look to our hands, and we'll walk our feet up to our hands, coming onto the tips of your fingers, soft walk, and then reverse, sweeping the arms up overhead, and hands come down to heart center. Coming into mountain pose, feet are hip distance apart, palms facing forward, crown of the head lifting. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's take a hold of our elbows, opposite elbows, and sway from side to side. Tucking the chin, wonderful stretch for the back body, back of the legs. And we'll release, just let the arms rest towards your mat. And reverse, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Arms by your side, inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Melt the heart forward, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. We'll hold our flat back here for a moment. Hands could be on your shins or your upper thighs. We'll think the tailbone to the crown of the head, reaching, lengthening, wonderful stretch, back of the legs, and soften the body. Reverse, arms coming up, prayer hands down to heart center. One more time through. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, melt the heart forward, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Fingertips come down to the mat. We'll step our left foot back at an angle and inhale, sweep the arms up. So we come into our warrior one. Warrior one. Hips are squared to the front of your mat, shoulders, and then just soften through the shoulders. Have a soft bend in your elbows, gazing up. Exhale to warrior two. So we're opening up through shoulders, hips, and then Again, just relax through your arms, gazing softly over the front fingertips. Wonderful opener here for your hips, reaching each hand equally, front hand. Let's take a peek back at our back hand, making sure that our arms are nice and level. And then take that gaze back towards the front. Soft bend in your right elbow, tucking your right elbow onto your right thigh. Sweep your left bicep by your left ear. For balance, you could look down. You could look to the side or up towards the ceiling. Let's find length through from our fingertip all the way down to our pinky toe. So we're lengthening through the side body, reaching. Inhale back to warrior two. Cartwheel hands down to the mat, pivot your back foot, step back plank, lower knees, hug the elbows in, tops of the feet resting, and belly meets the mat. Press into upward facing dog. Lengthen through the front body as you press the hands, curling toes back to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, left leg up towards the ceiling, hug the knee in towards the body, and left foot forward, right foot back at an angle, and inhale, warrior one. Everything is square to the front, shoulders, hips. Exhale to warrior two. Again, find that length, opening up through your chest, your hips, reaching through the arms. And then we'll take that soft bend, left forearm rest onto your left thigh, and sweep your right arm up into your right bicep. Gazing up to the side wall or down for balance. Let's find that side body length. Maybe reach just a little bit further. Inhale back to warrior two, palms facing down. Cartwheel hands down to the mat, framing your left foot. Right foot faces forward, step back plank. Lower knees down, tops of the feet, hug the elbows in, and we'll bring belly to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog. Curling toes, downward facing dog, and we'll pedal out the feet. From here, let's walk our hands to the back of the mat, soft bend in the knees, and we'll inhale, sweep the arms up, and prayer hands come down to heart center. Back of the mat, feet hip distance apart. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to that flat back, again, tabletop back, flat back, not locking the knees, nice stretch here. Think about the sit bones going to the back wall. Release hands down, bend in the knees. We're gonna walk that plank out. From your plank, we're gonna hold that plank, and I want you to think plenty of space between your shoulders and your ears. You could always come down onto your knees, hug the core in, flex the feet, and then drive the hips up, downward facing dog. Take a pedal in those feet, bending one knee, and then the other. Float your left leg up, three-legged dog. Put a bend in the knee, flex the foot, peek under your left armpit, and then draw that left knee in towards your nose. Back is going up. Plant your left foot forward in between your hands, back foot at an angle. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. This time, right arm goes down, left arm reaches up, reversing. Back to warrior two. Soft bend in your left forearm, bringing it to your left thigh, and sweeping the right arm up, extended side angle. Left arm, maybe that left fingertips are reaching towards your mat. Inhale, back to warrior two. Cartwheel hands down to the mat, pivot your back foot, step back plank, lower knees, hug the elbows in, flatten the tops of your feet, and find that upward facing dog as you go through, curling toes, downward facing dog, and walk the hands to the back of the mat, bending the knees, and reverse, arms coming up, prayer hands down to heart center. Arms by your side, inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, fold. Walk out to your plank. We'll hold our plank again, knees can be down. Take a breath here. Inhale, downward facing dog, hips going up, pedal out the feet, just a couple, walking our dog. And then right leg sweeps up, Bend the knee, flex the foot, peeking under your right armpit. Draw knee to nose. Right foot forward, left foot at an angle. Inhale, warrior one, hips facing forward. Exhale, warrior two, nice hip opener here. Good, we'll bring that right forearm down onto our right thigh, reaching, lengthening. And back to warrior two. This time we'll soften our left arm down, reaching the right arm up. Good, and then let's come back to our warrior two. Cartwheel hands down to the mat, pivot your back foot, step back plank, hold your plank, lower knees, hug the elbows in, belly meets the mat, press into upward facing dog, and curl toes, downward facing dog. This time look to your hands, we'll walk our feet up to our hands, and reverse, arms coming up, and hands coming down to heart center. We'll incorporate a little bit of a twist here. That's always so good when you can do a twist. It's almost like you're wringing out a washcloth. So it's almost like we're wringing out through our torso. So arms by your side. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Fingertips down to the mat. This time we'll step our right foot back. So we're in our runner's lunge, having our fingertips for support. You could always lower your right knee down. Let's flatten the right hand and we'll sweep our left arm up towards the ceiling. Again, right knee could be down or you're hovering that right knee, gazing up to the side wall or down for balance. Find length, hand to hand, breathe. If you have your right knee lifted, flex that right heel towards the back wall. Breathe. Open up through the chest. Left hand comes outside of left foot. Step back plank. Hold your plank. Hips up, downward facing dog. Let's step our right foot forward. Left hand is down. Now again, you can lower that left knee down. We'll sweep our right arm up. Hand to hand, maybe you lift that left knee, press that left heel, lengthen and breathe. One more breath here. Right hand reaches outside of your right foot, and let's step back plank. Walk the hands to the back of your mat, and reverse arms coming up, and prayer hands down to heart center. Back of your mat, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold. Walk out your plank. And we'll hold our plank here. Breathe. Knees could always be down. Hug the belly in. Plenty of space between shoulders and ears. You got this. Heels going towards the back wall. Inhale, hips up, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. One more little walk the dog. And then inhale, right leg, reach it up. Draw that right knee in, hover here. Right foot plants forward. Good, from our runner's lunge, we've got our left hand down, right arm reaches up. We were just here, find that leg. Right hand down, step back plank, hips up, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up, straight up, three-legged dog. Draw the left knee in, plant your left foot forward. Right hand is planted, left arm lengthens as it reaches up. Nice little twist here. Left hand comes down, step back, and hips up, down dog. So we're gonna walk those hands back of the mat, and reverse, arms coming up, prayer hands down to heart center. From the back of the mat, inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, fold. Walk the hands out, plank. Good, from your plank, hips up, downward facing dog. Right leg comes up, three-legged dog. Put a bend in the knee, flex your foot, peeking under your right armpit. Draw that right knee forward, hover here. Right foot plants. Good, back foot at an angle. Inhale, arms up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. We'll pause here. Several breaths. Relax the arms. Generous bend in that front knee. But with that generous bend, let's take a peek, making sure you can see all of your toes. If you're too far forward, draw that knee back so you can see all of your toes and lengthen the arms. Soften where there's tension. Release the left arm down, right arm comes up, reversing your warrior. And then take that bend in your right forearm. Left arm sweeps up so your bicep is by your ear. Now you could stay right here, or for a challenge, release that right arm, draw it up so that your right bicep is by your right ear. You could look down, side wall, or up towards the ceiling to find that length. Bringing right forearm back down, side angle. Cartwheel arms back to your warrior two, find that length. And then cartwheel arms down to your mat, so we're back to our runner's lunge. Left toes are facing forward. Left hand plants, right arm reaches up. Here comes that twist, that wringing out. Left knee could always be down. Take another breath here. Right hand outside of right foot. We'll step back plank. Lower knees down to the mat, hug the elbows in, belly meets the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog. Curling toes, downward facing dog, and pedal out the feet. We'll do the other side. Left leg floats up, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, flex the foot, and peek under your left arm. Draw that knee to nose and hover. Left foot plant, right foot at an angle. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. We'll pause here. Breathe. Let's do that toe test. Make sure you can see your toes. If you're too far forward, draw that left knee back slightly. Release right arm down, left arm reaches up. We're reversing that warrior, soften the shoulders. Back to warrior two. We'll bend that front forearm and take right bicep by your right ear. You can stay right here if you want that little challenge. Sweep that left bicep by your left ear, palms facing in towards each other. Finding what feels comfortable for your neck, maybe looking down, side wall, or up. Find that length and reach. Inhale back to warrior two. And breathe. We'll cartwheel hands down to the mat. Here comes that twist, so both feet facing forward. Plant your right hand down. Left palm sweeps up and breathe. One more breath. Left hand comes outside of left foot. Step back plank. Lower the knees down. Tops of the feet meet the mat. Hug the elbows in. Belly meets the mat. Lower down. Press into your upward facing dog. And then join me in a child's pose. Let's have the knees meet in the center, and we'll let the back round. Now, you could stay here, or you could stack your forearms and make a nice pillow for your forehead, rounding through the back, rounding through the shoulders. So if you don't have that pillow stacked with your fists, you could always just have your hands reaching, soft bend in the elbows. Another option would be having your arms by your side, and that gives a nice rounding for the shoulders. Taking a couple breaths here. Opening all those spaces and places in your upper back. Wherever your hands are, go ahead, bring them down to the mat, bringing yourself up, sitting onto your heels. And then let's come onto our knees. We won't be here for very long. We just want to open up through the hip flexor. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the sit bone back down to the heels. This time, tops of the feet are flat on your mat. We'll bring our knees to the wide edge of the mat, and then walking the hands forward, finding a wide knee child's pose. So this way, it's really nice for the low back and your hips. Again, soft bend in the elbows, taking a breath. Plenty of deep belly breathing here. And then bringing your hands to the mat, we'll walk ourselves back up. Draw the knees to the center. And let's come back onto our knees. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, lowering the sit bones back down to the hips. Finding the center of your mat, coming into your hands and knees, tabletop. We'll thread the needle, so wonderful stretch again for the shoulders, the back. Again, we're thinking about that wringing out, that twisting, detox, letting go. Inhale, right arm sweeps up. Exhale, right hand comes through, and we'll take that right shoulder, right cheek down to the mat and soften. So the tailbone's going up. Left arm, maybe that reaches towards the top of your mat and just melt. Another option would be left arm up towards the ceiling, or perhaps you wrap that left forearm behind your low back. Sometimes I like to go through all three. Wherever your left hand is, bring it back to the mat, setting it down, press yourself up, back to it, hands and knees, tabletop. And let's do the other side. Left arm floats up. Exhale, we'll thread it through. Left shoulder, left cheek, tailbone going up, and then that right arm. Just experiment what feels good. Maybe that right arm is reaching towards the top of your mat and softens. Maybe it reaches up towards the ceiling or wraps behind your back. One more deep breath here. We'll bring our right hand by our face, press yourself up into your hands and knees, tabletop. And then let's come into a puppy pose. Think of it as kind of like a modified downward facing dog. Again, wonderful stretch for your low back. So let's bring our forearms down to the mat. Walk the knees back slightly, tops of the feet are resting onto your mat. And we're bringing our forehead down to the mat. So the tailbone's going up. We have plenty of nice belly breathing here and soften through the shoulders. One more breath. And then let's bring weight onto our forearms, lift our head, walk the hands back slightly, and then draw the knees in towards the center. And then we'll walk our hands all the way down, finding our belly onto the mat, and we'll come into a Sphinx pose. Forearms support you. We have elbows stacked under our shoulders, and then I like to have my feet just slightly at hip distance. So instead of having the knees glued at the center, there's just a little bit of space there. Tops of the feet are resting, and then activate through the upper back. And it's almost like you're looking a ruler's distance in front of your the mat. So if there was a ruler laid out from the top of your mat forward, breathe. So we don't want to collapse in the shoulder area and the upper back. We want to find that lift, find that length. Activate through the legs and then soften the legs, soften the low back. Breathe. And lower the body down. Let's stack our hands as a pillow, letting the forehead rest. And then just a slight movement in the hips from side to side. Hands by your shoulders, press yourself up, and we'll come to the center of our mat, coming down onto our backs. And once you find that back onto your mat, have your feet hip distance apart, and just let your knees soften in, letting your back find that support of your mat. Hands could be on your low belly. We'll just take a couple breaths here. Again, noticing the rise and fall of your belly. And then let's bring our heels close to our buttocks. We'll set up for bridge. Palms are facing down, arms by your side. And then on an inhale, let's peel the hips. Each vertebrae comes up. And we're finding all that space from our kneecaps to our shoulders. Breathing. Give a nice squeeze where the glute and the leg meet. And then let's lower down one vertebrae at a time. We'll draw the knees in, hands come onto your kneecaps. And let's make some circles here. Wonderful stretch for your low back, and reverse that circle. We'll bring our arms out to a T, big inhale, and taking your knees to the left on your exhale. So again, we're thinking about that wringing out, that letting go, that detox. Left hand comes onto your right thigh, and maybe your gaze goes over towards the right. Soften your right shoulder and breathe. One more breath here. And then bringing your head back to center, resting on your mat. Knees come back to center. And then bringing your feet down, align your spine. Inhale, draw the knees in, both hands onto those kneecaps. Extending arms out to a T. One more big inhale here. Inhale, drawing that breath. Exhale, twisting to the right. And we'll find a twist. On this side, right hand comes onto your left thigh, gazing towards the left if that's comfortable. And then soften through the low back, the glutes, even the muscles in your face. Softening left shoulder, letting go of tension. And then let's bring our head back to center, releasing your right arm back to a T. Engage your core and knees come back to center. Releasing both feet down, align your spine as you bring the hips up. And then draw the knees in, hands come onto your kneecaps. We'll find happy baby here. Wonderful stretch for the inner thighs as you draw the head up, reaching in between the knees with the arms. Find the outside edges of your feet or your ankles, and we'll lower down. From here, we're just melting. Fingertips are guiding the feet further apart. Knees are melting towards the mat. Shoulders and shoulder blades soften. And feel free to rock back and forth, noticing all those sensations on either side of your spine. Wonderful little massage there for your back. And we'll bring our feet down to the mat. It's a little wider than hip distance, and go through some windshield wipers, drawing the knees over to the right and then over to the left. And from here, we'll extend our legs out, heels making that connection. Palms are by your side, facing up as your arms just lengthen, soften. Find that support of your mat. I'll walk us through a short guided meditation and then give time for breath. So with your heels making connection to your mat, let your feet relax. Let your legs just melt into the mat. Calves and knees. Thighs. Hips and belly are soft. As your back is supported by your mat, let your low back relax. Mid back soften. Upper back supported, resting. Arms and hands, nothing to do this time. As your head is supported by your mat, let your jaw relax. The lower set of teeth, upper set of teeth. Cheeks and ears. Eyebrows and forehead. Softening mother's tension. Breathing with ease with your inhale and exhale, letting these next few breaths just for yourself, softening where there's tension, letting go. One more breath. And let's bring movement to fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Soft bend in the knees as your feet come onto the mat. We'll roll onto one side. Pausing here for just a moment. And then gently bring yourself back up to a seated position. Finding that comfort for yourself. And then let's bring in our hands by our side. Inhale, sweep them up. And on your exhale, let's join hands down to heart center. And we'll close out our time together. I like to close out time together with gratitude. So if you'd like to, you could close your eyes or soft gaze down at your mat. Closing out our time together with gratitude for our breath, gratitude for our bodies, and gratitude for this life. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. And may your day be full of possibility, hope, and so much joy. Thanks for your time today. Have a great day.